Today we're going to be doing linear equations in preparation for the upcoming New York Algebra Regents. Let's take a look at question number 1. So it wants us to solve for x, meaning it wants us to get x by itself. And here I see this is the equation, 1.5x equals 30. And I know that when we have a number next to a letter, that means that they are being multiplied. We're going to have to do inverse operation. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide both sides by what? 1.5, of course. And when I divide both sides by 1.5, the 1.5's cancel out, so all that we're left with is x. And 30 divided by 1.5 is what? Let's go to our handy-dandy calculator. 30 divided by 1.5 equals 20. So the answer to number 1 is 20. Let's take a look at number 2. It says the same thing. We're solving for x. I see that here is x. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this first before we sort of address this issue. So here we've got the 1.5. And I see that there's a plus sign in front. So what I'm going to do, let's zoom in a little bit, is we're going to do the inverse operation. The opposite of plus is minus. And if we do it from one side, we got to do it to the other. And so I know that right off the bat, these cancel out. And 3.9 minus 1.5 is 2.4. Alright, so 2.4 equals now 0.6x. And what I'm doing, of course, is I'm just bringing this down. This is gone. So now we got to get rid of 0.6 because we need to get x by itself, right? We're solving for x, and I know that these are being multiplied. The opposite is division, and we're going to divide both sides by 0.6. And I know that the 0.6's cancel out, and so now we're left with just x, and x equals 2.4 divided by 0.6. It's going to give us 4, and that is our answer. Let's take a look at question number 5. Again, we're solving for x, meaning we've got to figure out what x is. And let's zoom in just a little bit. So here we're going to have to do some order of operations. And we're going to first need to distribute. So I'm going to multiply 4 by x and 4 by negative 2. And so I know that 4 times x is 4x. And then I know that, right, we can draw little arrows to help us. And then 4 times negative 2 is going to give us negative 8. We're then going to bring this down. Minus 3 equals 9. So let's continue. I see that we have some like terms, right? We can address this. Negative 8 minus 3 is going to give us minus 11. And then this is equal to 9. And now what we're going to have to do is get rid of this minus 11. And so we're going to do the opposite. So we're going to add 12 to... oh man. We're going to add 11 to one side, and we're going to add 11 to the other. And so these cancel out. And so 9 plus 11, of course, is going to give us 20. 20 equals 4x. And so, final step, we need to divide both sides, of course, by 4. And when we do that, the 4's cancel out. 20 divided by 4 obviously is 5, and x equals 5. This is our answer. Let's take a look at this last problem. It's question number 13, and again, obviously, we're solving for x, and I can see this one's a little bit different because we've got two sets of x's. The first thing that we're going to need to do is distribute, and I know that we're going to distribute 6 times x, and then we're going to multiply 6 times 1. So 6 times x is simply 6x, right? 6 times 1 is just going to give us 6, and then this is equal to 4x. Now what we're going to do is combine like terms, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the x's on one side. So rather than bringing this x over here, I'm going to simply bring this x over there, and to do that we're going to do the inverse operation. And so 6x plus 6x, you know what, I messed up. This should be minus. You know, I make mistakes all the time too. So this is a positive, and so we're going to need to do the inverse operation. And so we're going to be subtracting, and so the 6x's cancel out, And here I see 4x minus 6x, and that's going to give us what? It's going to give us negative 2x. And so negative 2x is now equal to 6. And what we're going to do is we need to now get the x, of course, by itself. So we're going to divide both sides by what? Negative 2. And when we do that, the negative 2's cancel out. We're left with x. And x is now equal to negative 3. X equals negative 3. This is our answer.